Hey everybody, it's Christopher Nejman. Today I'm going to do a quick demo on sewing over multiple layers of fabric. I did some videos before on thumping of your sewing machine sound and demonstrating a basic mechanical machine. Now I'm going to show you this beautiful machine by Baby Lock. This is my Aspire, and I'm going to show you the ability of these machines to be able to sew over multiple layers. So stay with me, I'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is basic muslin. This is what you use for when you're draping fabrics, testing. If you do garment sewing, you use this. If you're doing piecing on quilting and you want a base layer, this is what they use. So right now, this is all cotton, by the way. Right now I'm going to use a universal 80-12 needle. Universal 80-12. Okay, and this is Schmetz. So you want to check out where your needles are for the type of needle and the size. As I talked about in my other video about needles, you will hear people on the sewing groups on Facebook say use an 80-12, but they never tell you what type of needle. So don't be afraid to ask them, or look that information up on yourself. I'll put a link below this video to my educational video on needles and how to find information on needles. And then I'll also put a link below this video on a video I did on the thump, thump, thump sound of your sewing machine and why it makes that thump, thump, thump sound. Okay? Alright, so I'm just going to do this little demonstration. One thing I want you all to know about and remember when you're sewing, a lot of you are doing your face mask and that, is when you're going over multiple thick layers of fabric, you want your stitch length to be longer. When you're quilting, when you're doing piecing on quilting, you're just doing like 2 layers, you want a shorter stitch length because you're going to be cutting that up into smaller pieces and re-sewing them back together. And that's why you need the shorter stitch length when you're quilt piecing. But a lot of quilters and a lot of other newbies are switching over to doing masks, and they can't get over those thick layers because their fabric is being hung up. It's because their stitch length is too short. I'm going to demonstrate a couple things here. Now my stitch length right now is at 3.0, a 3.0, but I'm going to bring that down to a 2.0. So this is a 2.0. And you notice when the stitch length is shorter, the machine moves slower. Even though it's sewing fast, it's moving shorter. So this is just 2 pieces of muslin being sewn together. This would be kind of like if you're doing quilt piecing, right? Alright, so now we're going to do 4 layers. Let me fold this over this way. Now I'm going to sew 4 layers. And at 2.0 it's still moving well. Okay. Now, that was 2 4 layers. Let's do 6 layers. That's still going good. Now I'm going to double this and I'm going to do 12 layers. Fold this right over 12 layers. Now see, that's still moving, but it's really struggling. So now I'm going to increase the stitch length to 3.5. And watch how nice this is going to just glide over this. See that? See that? Now that's really thick there at that hump there. Now here's that ski slope. Now if you have a foot with a black button, here's what we're going to do. I showed this in a video before also. You level your foot out, you push that black button in the back until it clicks into place. Let the foot come down while you're still holding the black button. It's going to level it out, and then it's going to be able to sew right over that. See how nice I went over that? If you don't have that foot, you can use something like this, It's like a genamajig, they call them, and this is generic. And it slips right behind your foot back here to keep that foot level so you don't have that ski slope effect, and you'll be able to go over that really thick layer of fabric. You see how thick that is? That's really thick. You can hear it starting to thump a little bit. Now here I am, it's getting real thick there. So I'm just gonna push that level this until that black button goes in the back, lower my foot, and then sew. Do you see how nice I went over it? I didn't have to do any pushing, and you never want to have to push on your machine, and you never want to have to pull on the back. There's no reason to. People who pull on the back or push this way, it's usually because that is so thick and that foot's not moving and balancing with the bottom feed dog. So you have to balance the foot out, and then you have to increase your stitch length to be able to get that to move through. Look, I'm not even touching it. We'll do that one more time. There's a ski slope effect, right? Okay, so now I'm going to lift the foot, balance his foot out, push that little black button in until it reaches there, and then I'm going to let go of the black button, and I'm going to sew. I'm not even touching it. This is 12 layers of muslin. There it is. You see? You see how easy it was to go over all those layers? And this is true with any good made all aluminum frame sewing machine. A lot of you beginners are buying the really cheap sewing machines, and some of them, like the Brother entry level machine, there's no aluminum frame, it's all plastic. Now Brother makes great machines. This is a baby lock made by Brother. Okay, and this is all aluminum frame. But those very inexpensive machines you buy from your entry level, your big box stores, you know, you see videos online where people are opening them up and it's nothing but a plastic housing. There's no aluminum frame. So invest in if you're going to invest in a good mechanical basic machine, you can get a decent price for a basic one that has an aluminum frame. And then you'll have good solid sewing over multiple layers. See, when there's no mechanical frame, you're going over something thick, that machine here is going to move on you here. This head of the machine is going to move, and it's going to cause skip stitches, it's going to cause breaking of needles, and because it's not aligning, because there's no strength. Whereas when you have an aluminum frame all the way around the machine, that's not going to shift on you. The bottom's not going to shift on the top. It's going to stay solid. So you're going to have total penetration and the power. Okay? All right, I hope this demo helped you guys to understand sewing over multiple layers and what to do. Okay? And if you don't have, let me just take this out here. If you don't have a foot with that little black button that did not come with your machine, check to see if it does. If you can get one for your machine, you have to look it up online, research it, check it out. This is called a hump jumper, or they also call it a genamajig. Back in the 90s when I was learning how to sew, they call this a genamajig. And this is a hump jumper now. Viking used to include one with all their machines all the time. And it fits right behind your presser foot, like this. Let me show you. Fits right behind your presser foot, where your thick fabric is, when you're going to get going over a thick seam like jeans. And you just sew. Let me show you. I'll just sew. So it levels it out more. So when you're sewing, see? And it helps if you don't have the black button. But the black button is the best if your brand machine will accommodate it. Sometimes you're going to have to change the ankle on the foot to make sure that that black button foot will fit. So just check online and do some research and you'll find out. Okay, guys? All right, take care. Talk to you soon. Enjoy your sewing machines. A lot of you, this is your first time. A lot of you bought sewing machines for your first time since this pandemic with masks. And I've never seen Walmart online be out of sewing machines. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Everywhere I'm looking online, there's so many machines that are sold out everywhere. So, yeah, so take your time, study, read your manuals. Read your sewing machine manuals, everybody. I see too many people on the Facebook groups asking questions that could be answered just by opening up your instruction manuals and reading it. Okay? All right. Take care. Wear your mask. Be safe. be respectful for other people's lives, and try to be a little more self-sufficient. Okay? All right, love you. Bye.